discuss the topic of being a targeted individual and also being gangstalked in the residence that you live in, your community, and also being stalked in your um inside the place where you live with your neighbors, or if you live in a dorm or an apartment complex. Now, this information, I'm going to share my testimony with you all, and I'm also going to be sharing um, what happens when you're being spied on. When you have a group of people and a group of neighbors spying on you and targeting just you. So let's go ahead and begin. Now, I want to begin by saying ever since I moved from my hometown to this new area in California, I began to get targeted once I moved to this new area. First, I was targeted by a malignant narcissist, and from there, I was being heavily abused by that malignant narcissist. There was a lot of mind control, mind games, and it was very bad. And I had recently escaped a toxic relationship with a covert narcissist, so I was barely beginning to start my healing journey with healing my complex post traumatic stress disorder and my anxiety disorder while I was being targeted by a malignant narcissist. I had asked the landlord, the person that that was there, if I can be moved to another dorm, another to move from that dorm to another dorm because I didn't want to be around that malignant narcissist who was very abusive and crazy. She even tried to poison me once. She put this very toxic spray underneath my door, and I complained to maintenance and I told them what was going on, and I was being gaslighted. I was being told that I was exaggerating, that there was no strong smell. But I would ask other people, "Did you guys also smell what I smelled?" And they would all gaslight me, and it was just mind games, very bad. And even my mail, um, I would order stuff online, and then the malignant narcissist would grab my mail because we all shared one tiny box. She would grab my mail and she would keep it, and I would have to go to her door, knock on her door, and tell her, "Did you take my mail?" And since she was a narcissist, she would deny it, gaslight me, and say, "I didn't take anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Why are you accusing me of being a liar?" And she would take my mail because I said, "I'm going to file a report on you if you don't return back what belongs to me and what I paid for." And so the next day, my mail was there somehow because she placed it back. And so I finally decided that I wanted to move to a different dorm, and I had to wait for a couple of months, and they were working on finding a dorm for me. But I was very unaware that I was being targeted. So what they were doing is they were already setting me up to live with another narcissist, but they were trying to find a good place to put me with that other narcissist to spy on me. So as I was waiting, um, the malignant narcissist started launched a smear campaign once I was barely beginning to pack all my things and getting ready to move out. Um, there was a smear campaign. I had a police car that would just park right in front of my window, and I would always put my window up because I had plants and I wanted my plants to have sunlight and fresh air. And I was just staring every time outside the window, and I was constantly seeing this police car always just parked right in front of me. And I was gaslighting myself. I was saying, "Why is that car parked? Is it just because that car is taking care of the area, or why is it just being directed at me?" And it was continuously, it became a pattern, and I noticed it each and every single day. And throughout the whole entire day, from morning to night, the police car was still parked right in front of me. And so I knew that I wasn't just imagining things, that I was actually being targeted at that moment by that police car that would just park right in front of me and across from the window, but directed at me. And then there was also other instances where a couple of people would walk by and look into my window. I would get emotionally harassed by other people because the malignant narcissist would send other flying monkeys to harass me as well. So there was certain people who would say really nasty and mean things to me while I was trying to get out of that situation. And so I just want to share my testimony. It's necessary for anyone who's gone through something like this. And so once I transferred to another dorm, um, everything was fine for the first couple of days. But then I started to see that the roommate that I lived right near me would give me very nasty looks. So one time I was going down the stairs and she was listening to music really loud, but she gave me this very nasty evil eye type of stare, and I felt like a very bad energy, very dark energy coming from her. And at first I didn't know, but because I was still trauma bonded. I was still going through that. So I would codependent, trust people too easily. And so the first days she was being nice and she even offered me a slice of a pie. She said, "Oh, do you want a slice of pie?" And I said, "Okay." Unknowingly that it was all manipulation. They were starting to give me. "Oh, do you need help with anything? Oh, I can help you." And this is how it mostly starts with abusive and manipulative people, that they'll be very kind to you towards the beginning, and then they'll offer you something. They'll offer to give you something, to buy you something, or to help you out. But it's all because they're planning to manipulate you throughout the whole entire time. And so I accepted a slice, and from there, the doors were just slamming. Like she would slam the door really hard, and so I was, I went to her door and I told her, can you please not slam the door that hard?" And she was very aggressive. Her tone was very loud, and yes, it was love bombing. I was love bombed, and her tone was very aggressive towards me. And I decided, I was speaking to her nicely, and I said, "I just need you to not slam your door so hard." And she slammed her door right in my face and laughed and, "Oh, like this? You mean like this?" And she just disrespected me, and she continuously was being very abusive towards me while I was trying to just get the boundary set across, my point across with her. And so I went back. I left after that. I went back into my dorm, and then she came knocking a second time. And I was just already, I was filled with a lot of stress. And I think she also called me the B word once, and I told her, "Oh, you called me the B word," and she used the person that she's in a relationship with to use as a flying monkey. Did I ever call her that? I never called her that. And of course, the flying monkey will side with the abuser. "Oh, no, you didn't call her that." And so I went back into my dorm. She came back knocking. And the second time, she was like, "I need to talk to you." And then she called me a narcissist. She's like, "You're a narcissist," because I was watching a lot of TikTok videos while I was trying to heal from narcissistic abuse. Just because when you heal from narcissistic abuse, you tend to fixate a lot on reading articles about narcissistic abuse. You start doing a lot of research about the type of disorder to learn from it and to heal from it. It's like a healing process when you study it and when you learn it. So I was doing that, and she came back and she insulted me. She's like, "I think you're a narcissist." And I said, "I'm not a narcissist. Um, do you know what a narcissist is? Why would you call me a narcissist? Do you know what a narcissist is?" And she just stayed quiet. But throughout the whole argument that I had with her, I noticed a lot of patterns. It went from me setting that boundary and her insulting me, because after I was speaking in a very nice tone, but she decided to insult me because I was focusing on her, what she did to me. And she called me a racist. She called me a white girl. a hypocrite, and a victim, something, a narcissist. Yeah, she called me a narcissist as well. And so I said, you have no right to call me a racist when I'm not racist at all. And she just continuously was just insulting me and gaslighting me. And then she said, you need to apologize to me. I said, no, you need to apologize to me for insulting me and for calling me all these names, and you don't even know me. And she just felt entitled. She was like, no, you owe me an apology. I don't have to apologize for anything. Just narcissistic behavior, as well as gaslighting me, putting all the blame shifting, word salad. She started saying a bunch of nonsense, things that made absolutely no sense. We went from arguing to me placing a boundary to literally talking about something that had nothing to do with what I was previously trying to just having a normal civil conversation to fix a problem and come to a resolution. It ended up being a full blown argument, and her raging, slamming the door really hard, and just being very angry. So she blew the situation out of proportion and over exaggerated to with narcissistic rage to get narcissistic supply. After I left that whole argument, I started putting all the pieces together from the beginning. And she even slammed it in my face. Well, I gave you a piece of pie, and that's why you have to be nice to me because I gave you this. So just narcissistic behavior, that they do certain things because there's strings attached to what they do for you. And everything that I've experienced with narcissists my whole entire life was exactly that argument. Was it felt just like the arguments that I've always had with narcissists. And I left and I was just depleted. I was emotionally exhausted because I don't like drama. I don't like none of that. And she left happy. She left with so much energy because she had just drained all my energy while she was arguing with me. She zapped all my energy away from me. And she left as if nothing had happened. Like everything was all wonderful and amazing. And she started calling people and telling her, like, oh, I think she's racist and this and that. And I also felt a sense of jealousy coming from her from the beginning when I barely met her. It was just jealousy, like pure jealousy and envy towards me. Just the way that she would stare at me, like really nasty stares. And so yeah, so I remember that. But everything started with the fact that I was being already targeted by her in that moment. And and then so that happened. There was a lot of stuff like that, and I realized this is not normal. I went from living with a covert narcissist. I started putting everything together because that's how my brain works. I said I was targeted in school, I was targeted early on, then I was targeted when I lived with my mom, and then I move over here and I was targeted by a malignant narcissist, and I ask very nicely if I can move to a different place to find a peace of mind and to start my healing journey, and I get moved with another narcissist. So it was all a setup. How can I go from living with a malignant narcissist to all of a sudden living with another narcissist? Not only that, but at the time I didn't have a roommate. I didn't live with anyone else. And so then another roommate came along, and this roommate was a covert narcissist. So I was placed with two narcissists. The one over here, my neighbor, and then the covert narcissist. The covert narcissist was like covert narcissist acts, very nice towards the beginning, overly concerned, overly caring, acting innocent, childlike, like a person that can do no wrong. And she offered me, can I buy you Starbucks? Do you want anything from Starbucks? Do you need anything? And then of course, starting the sob story. Oh, I was treated so badly, and my parents abused me, and this and that, and just trying to make me feel bad, playing on my empathy to, of course, abuse me in the long run. And so that happened towards the beginning, and so then her mask started to slip. I started to see that she was passive aggressive. She would throw subtle digs at me, and just like a covert narcissist, the abuse, the manipulation is very subtle, but it's very covertly. It goes under the radar. And so I lived with a covert narcissist for 21 years of my life. I knew exactly what type of person she was because I've had already had previously years of living with narcissists all my life. I grew up with narcissistic parents, and so I know the signs to look for in narcissists. So I knew that I wasn't dealing with just a toxic person. I was dealing with a person who has NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, and the cluster B personality type, and a sense of grandiosity, a sense of entitlement, a sense of manipulation, lack of empathy. And so it was all a setup. Not only that, but when I started to invite, I have just one or two friends, that's it. I invited a friend over. Maintenance, the people in maintenance started acting very suspicious as well. One time I was hanging out with my friend, and one of the maintenance asked, "Oh, who is this?" And who is this? Is this your friend? But the energies that I was getting was kind of like controlling. Like, what are you doing with this other person? Like, you should be isolated because you're a targeted individual. And that's when the whole targeting began. At that moment, once I left my previous job that I had working. So even my own people, you know, the people that my family were part of my targeting as well. In that job, in that job, my parental figure decided to get in between one of my bosses and then send information that, oh, I'm worried about my daughter and I hope she's doing good. Can you please keep an eye on her? And that job was just, I experienced workplace mobbing. I experienced ostracizing, isolation, humiliation, intimidation, all the different tactics of narcissists. They all did that exact same game of just targeting me and making me feel like I was less than, just putting me down and ignoring me every time I walked in the office. Their doors were all closed. They ignored me the whole entire time. It was the worst experience I've ever experienced in my life. So I decided that I couldn't take it anymore, and I ended up resigning from that job position. And in the meantime, while I was still waiting for that resignation date to happen, I was getting targeted. I was experiencing red eyes. I was experiencing a lot of fatigue, a lot of tiredness, very strong, like very strong headaches, like to the point where I would just grab my head and I was like, my head hurts and I don't know why I'm getting so bad headaches. Right here, it was like so much tightness and it hurt so bad. And I was experiencing all the symptoms while I was still at work. And those people, the bosses, the people in the higher positions, they were aware that I was already getting targeting because they're part of it. And so I was once I would go back home, I would see a bunch of cars just circling like this. But it was a pattern of cars. It was a gray car, then it was a dark gray car, then it was a white car, then it was a red car, and then there was a police car as well. So then it was just like this constantly and a lot. And I would go to a restaurant as well, and the drive-through was a bunch of cars just going through the drive-through. Tons of cars just nonstop going in and out of that drive-through over and over again. Um, even even when I would go to restaurants and sit down, I felt that there was an agent that would just walk into that restaurant, sit somewhere that's right in front of me to watch me while I was just eating my food. And it felt so invasive, it felt so uncomfortable when you have someone just sitting right in front of you, just staring at you the whole entire time, studying you and looking at you. And um, not only that, but I experienced also the sleep deprivation, the whole targeting. I was like paranoid towards the beginning. I didn't know what to do. I was just thinking to myself, is this really happening? Am I going crazy? What's wrong with me? And I knew I wasn't going crazy because it was my first time experiencing all of this ever since I moved to this new area. And so yeah, that's when the whole gang stalking happened, and I started doing my research and I figured it out. It's called gang stalking. And I was sleeping one night and I remember that I was feeling sensations of burning on my skin. I felt like my legs were burning, like so much heat, but it was to the point where I felt like it was my legs were overheating. And this is called the light beams that they, it's like an electronic harassment thing that they use to burn your skin. And it's like they slow cook your skin, but it feels so much, you feel so much like hotness when you touch your skin. And so I was going through that on my legs. They were, that whatever thing that they used to target you, they they were targeting it on my legs. And then the electrocution as well. That's what it feels like. It feels like electricity going through your skin and just buzzing you. And my whole entire body was just going like this. And it's like you feel like your whole back, everything. It's like, yeah, they were doing that. Um, EMF. That's what I experienced. The worst experience ever. And I was scared. I was scared to death when that happened. Not only that, but I was sleeping, and as I was sleeping, I was hearing voices, and I woke up, and I was just jumped, and I got startled, and I was like, why did I hear this? Like, what's wrong? And I was like going like this, and I was just terrified. I really quickly got my phone out, and I started looking up, what does this mean? And I figured it out. It's called Voice to Skull, Voice of God, V2K. And I started doing research and I started watching a bunch of videos, and I was like, wow, this is what I'm going through. This is exactly what's happening to me. Not only that, but you see that window right there? This window right here? They would project onto this other wall right here. They would project spiders and big old spiders, like huge spiders, using that window. And while I was sleeping, and I would just wake up and I would see these big old projections of huge spiders just going like this through the wall, just on the top area. So, so yeah, that was part of it. But the gang stalking, the vehicles and stuff like that, that hasn't stopped. I am still going through that, and the agents as well, and the restaurants. Not only that, but even in grocery stores. I'd go to a grocery store. Someone would give me a nasty look, like a very nasty, disdainful, a look full of hatred. And so those were agents as well. I figured that out. Those were agents as well that are being sent wherever you go, grocery stores, and they give you nasty looks. They try to make you feel very bad about yourself and stuff like that. So those are a couple of things that I um, encountered as a TI. Not only that, but I would take Uber sometimes with a friend of mine, and the person that was driving the Uber car was a retired police officer, or was a retired something retired of the police officers. And so he would ask me personal questions. If you don't mind me asking, but blah 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 blah, and can you tell me a little bit about this and that about you? So they were sent, they were prepared to groom me, to first be nice and then start a conversation, and then little by little ask more and more personal questions to get information out of me. So I knew this, I feel like I'm being set up in this moment. This person is trying to set me up and ask me personal questions about myself. So That was it. And I would listen to my music really loudly as well. And not only that, I would go to restaurants and stuff like that, and the same exact music that I was playing in my dorm really loud, I would listen to the same exact songs being played um, in the restaurants that I was going to. And I was thinking to myself, how are they playing the same exact songs that I listen to? But this targeting individual program, it runs very deep. And I guess the word gets around very quickly around to certain people. And so I knew that maintenance and the office staff, the people that work there, were part of it. In my community where I live, and also the dorms where I stay at. Then there was balconies. People would stare. They would come out of their balconies and just look at me and stay there. Every time I would go in and out of my door, they were always staring. But with evil eyes, like bad intentions. And so the most of the attention was directed only at me. And I started to feel very uncomfortable in my own apartment, in my own space. I constantly felt that the whole gang stalking and everything was meant to make me look like I was crazy and that there was something wrong with me. And that's what the majority of the people started believing. So I felt like the whole entire place where I was living, they were all going against me. So this is a form of spiritual warfare. So what ended up happening is that every single um, neighbor that I had would stalk me, would watch me, and I constantly felt that I was constantly being watched the whole entire time. Like someone was invading my privacy the whole entire time I was there. And so this is a form of spiritual warfare. When you're being targeted, when you're being harassed, when you're being constantly bothered. And this is all very real. So what happens is that please don't invalidate my experience. That's all I say in this. Don't invalidate my experience. Let me get my testimony. Let me express myself. This is a form of spiritual warfare. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to just trigger you. They try to find your weaknesses. They try to find your trigger points. So they keep harassing you. Even when I would go to the restroom in my own place, the other roommate would be going inside her restroom at the same exact time. And it was like every single step that I was taking, she was taking the same exact steps in the same place that I was. Like I was constantly being followed around in my own apartment. Just being followed around like that. And it felt so annoying, and it was like harassment. Not only that, but I would go out sometimes just to go out. and make myself food. She would come out of her dorm and laugh hysterically, like a crazy person would laugh, and just laugh nonstop and then turn around to see if I looked at her just to get my attention. So that was very, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was so uncomfortable and so, like, cringe-worthy. It was very cringy. The fact that she would come out of her dorm and just laugh, like, ah, and then just look at me. And I was like, whoa, what was that? Like, what was that all about? Like, are you okay? Because that's not okay. That type of behavior is very uncomfortable. And so there was a lot of gossiping going around as well, gathering information about me. And so what they do is they try to get energy, the energy that they need from you. So that's why they target you. Because they're hoping to get an emotional reaction out of you. This is all energetic. This is a spiritual war that we're living in right now. It's all about our energy. And so the reason why we're getting targeted and harassed so much is because they want to take all our energy, to get in the way of our path, to create blockages, to distract us from our goals and what God has planned for us. And so that's why they all have to just get together and just study you like FBI agents in your own place. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to pull energy. They're trying to pull energy away from you. And it's meant to affect you emotionally, psychologically, and mentally to get an emotional reaction. Usually it's a negative reaction once you hit that breaking point where you can't take it anymore. So this is all meant to keep targeted individuals from attaining their mission, their goals, and their destiny. It's very invasive and it's harassment and it's a crime that they're doing in your own home to make you feel unsafe, unwelcomed, make you feel that you don't have any privacy in your own place because you're constantly just being watched, listened to, and studied everything that you do, and all for bad reasons is not for good reasons. They're studying you to see if they can try to throw a spiritual attack your way or just to distract you. And so one thing I noticed is that they stay till the morning, till the nighttime, non-stop. Like till the morning they're there, and then they spend all their entire time just watching me because they're getting paid to watch me during these times. And so they try to steal our energy because it's high energy and they recognize it. They recognize that we're vibrating at a much higher frequency. And so they're trying to just steal our energy. So one thing that I would notice is anything I would do, I would conversate with a friend or something, or I would just do something, and the roommate would come out of her door and just stand right near my door and just listen. Like you can just hear her footsteps like that, and just stand there and just stand quiet and listen to what I'm saying and to whatever I'm doing and listening to every word that I speak of. So I'm constantly being watched. Even till this moment, I'm constantly being watched. But just the fact that I would listen to that, to those footsteps. So she was listening to what I was doing, what I was saying, um, what I was even eating. One time I ordered pizza, and then she decided to order pizza that same exact day that I did. And I would talk about certain subjects, and then whenever I would see her, she would talk about the same exact thing that I was previously talking about. So there was a lot of mirroring happening. Like, they mirror you. And this is how narcissists also are, because they're highly envious and jealous. And the stalking happened because I decided to just cut her off. I said, I want no contact. I said, nope, I'm not going to let you disrespect me again or abuse me. And so she resorted to stalking me to try to create the illusion of control again and gain power and leverage over me again. And so that stalking went on for a while. And I would tell my friends, I'm being harassed by her. She's all constantly standing near my door. She comes out to wash and listen to every single thing that I do. And she was nosy, like very nosy. And a gossiper, just a bad mouth. Like, that's all they do, like parasites. They just stay the whole entire time in the apartment doing absolutely nothing and getting paid to just stalk and harass. And so these are energy vampires also, just wanting to take your energy. They're ready to just claw and attach themselves to you. So they would keep trying to take my energy, even if I want no contact. Every time I went downstairs to cook myself some food, they would always come out the same exact time that I would come out. It was like, okay, I come out of my dorm to do something, and then they decide to also come out at the same exact time to to just watch me and observe me and study me, or whatever they need to do. They would do that. So one thing we always have to remember is that our energy is sacred. That we shouldn't even be giving them our energy, because they're on assignment. They're agents sent to carry that information to familiar spirits. They're monitoring spirits. If we talk about it in a spiritual way, they're monitoring spirits. They have evil spirits. They have they're low vibrational beings that target us, people who have higher vibrational energy, because they want to drain us from it and they need it to survive. They're like leeches. So our energy is it's very important to not just give it away to just anybody. So I'm talking about energy. When you work hard, when you've done all the inner healing, when you've done all the work to get to that high vibrational state, you're not just gonna um, give it just to anyone, especially selfish, entitled people and people who are literally being paid to try to destroy you, to try to knock you off your path. And so our energy has to be directed into ourselves and into our purpose in what we're doing in this life. So I didn't really understand. I was thinking to myself, I was nice to these people. I just want to live in peace. I just mind my own business. and I want to live a life of tranquility. That's it. But yet I was being harassed, targeted, and that's how I was going. And I felt the energy of I felt the energy of being watched all the time. And not only that, but being harassed, like loud noises late at night like this, just loud noises just to disturb. And the downstairs neighbors also would just try to gain a reaction by doing loud noises. Just things to just get energy, so I can put energy into them. So you have to understand that not everyone deserves our energy. Not only that, but I felt their energy as well. I felt that fake, negative, dark, heavy energy coming from them all the time. As I was being watched, you feel that energy. You really feel it. Like when your intuition is sharpened, like you have a high awareness and consciousness of what's going on, you start to pick up very easily on the energies. You start to pick up on the habits. And you start to pick up on what's happening in your own place. So the more in tune you become, the quicker it is for you to spot these type of people who you need to cut off and remove. And I've noticed that these type of people tend to have a very like toxic bully type of personalities. Like they like to bully, they like to intimidate and just harass people. That's their type of personality. And bullies, as we know, they're very weak spirited and they're cowards. They do everything behind our backs. And so one thing that I just want to always um, inform you guys is that when you feel someone has ill intention or bad intentions towards you, you need to trust your intuition. And you need to actually feel that that person does not have the best interest at you at heart. But one thing I've noticed is that once they couldn't destroy me and off my path, they try to latch on to me now. Like They try to latch onto you, like just attach themselves to you. And even when I did cut them off, I did cut them off. I really did. I never wanted a friendship with them. But yet they try so hard to just try, like they're like snakes just slithering, trying to get in no matter what. And they'll come with their fake smiles, with fake compliments, trying to make me feel good about myself. And I already know who they are. They're snakes. So they keep trying to deceive me. They keep trying to play these manipulative games that I already caught on to them, and I already know what kind of manipulative tactics they have. And so they go from playing abusers to being submissive, to going into like a submissive type of mode where they feel like defeated because they couldn't destroy you, and then they go into playing victim as as if you're the bad person and you have to feel guilty. And so that was going on. They were playing victim because I was no longer giving them any of my attention or energy. They would say, "Oh, she no longer wants to talk to me." But I'm aware that these people behind my back, they tear me down. They they listen to everything I say. They try to gain personal information, and then they spread that word around town, around the whole community, to let them know what I'm up to and just carry that information around for bad. And they even spread lies. Like I know that they spread so much lies about me. I feel it. And they're plotting against me. They're not looking at me and watching me from admiration and with love. They're looking at me with an evil eye and to destroy me. And so I can also pick up on the way that they stare at me. Like when I come out, I can see, and they come out at the same time. They give me nearly nasty looks, like they just want to project that negative energy that they carry onto me. And so I try to stay as isolated as I can away from them, because I know that they bring nothing but negative energy, and they're just looking for a way to pull me down, pull my energy, bring my energy down. Even when I'm happy or I'm doing really good and I'm just enjoying life and have just being my bright self, they would get mad and they would start banging and making loud noises and trying to just bring my happiness down. Like they really try really hard to just harass me so they can bring my energy down. And then when I have my low moments, because I'm still human at the end of the day. Some days I'm tired than others. The energy becomes a lot heavier than other days. And when my energy becomes heavier than other days, it's like they're the most happiest. Like they feel so good about themselves because they're competing. They're silently competing with me as well when they watch me and listen to everything that I do. It's all silent competition. It's all jealousy. Um, it's just like that. And they play manipulative games with me. Like they'll be nice one day and smile and be all lovely and caring and say all these sweet words. But their actions, I watch their actions. I watch how they move. I watch everything that they do, and I observe and I listen as well. And they're nothing but gossipers and just people who love drama, and they have evilness in their souls. I can feel it. That's the spirit of discernment, is that I see these people. I see through them. Like I see their eyes. I see how they're lifeless, like they're soulless. Like I don't see anything there. And so I know what kind of spirits they carry. They carry the spirit of jealousy and the spirit of hate. I see through it. I really do. And so sometimes that can get me overwhelmed. That can get me too much. And let me also explain this. I'm an empath. I'm a highly sensitive person. I'm very emotional. I'm very in tune with my emotions. And so, dark energy, negative energy, sometimes destabilizes my energy. It makes me all over the place because I'm absorbing so much. And the environment that we live in, it really affects us because that's our safe place. That should be our safe place. That should be some place where we feel comfortable in. But it hasn't turned that way anymore because of the spiritual warfare that we're going through. It's even in our homes. We can't escape it anymore. It's everywhere we go. We're constantly having to battle against these spirits, these dark spirits, these negative, low vibrational energies. But they're very relentless. That's one thing I've witnessed, that they're very relentless, and it's like they don't sleep. They're constantly awake, listening, watching everything. But they're relentless to pursue personal information about me. Like always, they're always trying to gather any tiny little drop that they can find just to take. And so I've learned to live a private life. I've learned to not share that much because they're constantly listening. They're constantly just, even when I'm quiet, they still want to see what I'm up to and stalk me. So this is just a video for confirmation if anyone has gone through this experience. Not the same experience, but we're all going through a spiritual battle. Each one of us, we're all experiencing this battle. And so I'm going through it right now, and I just want to make this video because I want to speak the truth. I want to speak my truth. And I also want other people to feel heard and seen. Because we're not in this alone. Many of us are going through the same exact experiences in our own home places, our communities. We're being stalked, we're being harassed, we're being watched all the time and gang stalked by a group of people just targeting light beings, like lights, like people who shine bright. And yeah, I have right now, since I live in a dorm, so I have downstairs neighbors. I have neighbors really near, and they all just target, like, constantly, just see what they can find. And since they all don't like me, since they're all jealous and envious and just hateful human beings that they all find the time to get together because, of course, like like-minded people go together like this. And since they don't like me, they're gonna get together to do that, harass me and stalk me and watch me. So another thing that I've noticed is when I go downstairs to make myself food. I have the downstairs neighbors and I have the upstairs neighbors come out just to watch me. And they would just come out just to do anything, just to put a bag in the trash can, just to get something in the fridge. Or someone would just come downstairs to warm up their food at the same exact time that I decide to make myself food. And it's each and every single time that they come out, the exact same time that I come out. And they stare, they give me this like nasty look, like, or just to take my energy, just to see if I would pay attention to them, because that's what they're after. They're after our energy. And they're after our energy. And we have to understand that Not to sound conceited or anything, but in the spiritual realm, we are actually above them. We have the more power. They have to feed off of our energy. We don't need energy. We produce our own energy. I don't know how to say that, but we 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 have a higher source, God, who gives us the energy that we have, and it's very powerful because it comes from the light, and it's the highest of the highest, which means the highest form of energy. When you say high, it's the highest. And so we have to remember that we are already above them, that they're the ones who manipulate our energy to do what they do to us. They use our energy to attack us. So we have to keep our power as well. We always have to maintain our power and not just be easily distracted. And I know it's easier said than done because I have times where I tend to put attention into the wrong stuff in my life when I should be placing my attention in things that are going to better me. Um but it is a distraction placed. And it's a distraction to keep you stuck. And so trust the energy that you pick up from someone. Trust the way that they look at you. Trust their body language. Um, Trust if they're giving you some weird, bad energy or negative energy, and distance yourself away from them. Don't gaslight yourself. And remember that they're using all their time. They're wasting their own time, their life, just to get money and to watch us. What gaslighting mean? It means when you see something like your reality, and then you gaslight yourself and you start questioning yourself, you start doubting yourself, you start making excuses and rationalizing that you're exaggerating, that you're being overly sensitive, that maybe you're just reading too much into things and it's not really like you see it is, because sometimes these manipulators will be nice to us in certain instances, and they'll try to revert from being nice to being hateful and cruel because their mask will just slip. And what it means is to not gaslight yourself, to actually see them for who they are. That evil, nasty, jealous, hateful person that tries to destroy you, that harasses you, um, you have to believe it and not gaslight yourself. Because sometimes you'll experience cognitive dissonance where you have two different beliefs. Well, they're nice, but then at the same time, they stonewall me. They give me the silent treatment and they treat me bad. So, and always remember that a demon is never nice. So, these people who try to destroy you, they're demonic. They've got some demons attached to them, to their spirits. And so, they work with other handlers, they work with other gang stalkers in the community to gain and then send information. So, yes, the devil is a master manipulator and the greatest deceiver. And so God has given us spiritual eyes to see them for their spirits, not for what they look on the outside. Trust their behavior as well. Their behavior always tells on themselves. They're very predictable. So They hate our laughters. Yes, they do. I've witnessed that. I agree with you. They really do. They get mad when you start laughing or smiling or having a good time. It's another thing that we deal with these monitoring spirits around us. So whenever we have a good moment, we're happy. They want to just come and try to throw a spiritual attack our way to divert our energy. So we have to remember to always stay strong, to continue to stay resilient, to continue to have a courageous spirit, a fearless spirit, um, a brave spirit, and to own our power and our energy. Own it. God has given it to us. And we have to be stronger than what is set in our path. Because there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be set in our path. But we have to be stronger than that. Mentally and spiritually. Even physically. Each type, you got to be strong. So don't give your power away. Especially not to fake, manipulative, and backbiter type of people who don't really care about you and who don't have good intentions for you. And you should never give your power away to begin with, because it belongs to you. But one thing I'll tell you is that I don't feel any anger. I don't feel any I don't want to do anything bad, because that's not my spirit. It's just the fact that I'm aware of what's going on. I'm not oblivious to reality. I'm actually um, understanding what's taking place. And this video, it's to confirm it for anyone who's gone through something similar to this, and it also gives me confirmation that my experience is really reality, what's going on. And just because they're hateful, just because they're jealous, just because they're evil, it doesn't mean that we have to dim our light for them. It doesn't mean that we have to play small every time we're around them. Because that's another thing. They want us to play small. They want us to not be ourselves. They want us to just be less every time we're around them. So we have to remember to continue to be happy, continue to enjoy your own space that you're living in. Don't let them bother you, or don't let them trespass your energy field. It's like build a bubble. They're not allowed in your bubble. And just learn that their behavior, their emotions, that's all on them. And that you're responsible for your happiness. So don't place your happiness in the hands of these agents. Because they're going to want to just take your happiness away from you, your joy, your sense of mind, your peace of mind, your sanity. So be mindful of which type of energies you're allowing into your space. And stay prayed up. And listen to gospel music. Listen to higher vibrational music that's going to uplift your soul. It's going to feed your soul. So make sure you're always replenishing your soul, your heart, and your mind as well. Your mind is very powerful as well. And your well-being. So learn to divert your energy where it's needed. Don't divert your energy where it's just going to be depleted and you're going to be emotionally drained. And your energy is going to be taken advantage of. So make sure you're diverting your energy into what is important to you and your life and what it's needed. And regardless of whoever is watching or stalking you, don't make it personal and don't allow them to rent space in your mind. So kind of block them out of your mind and focus on what you have to do, because they're just distractions. And remember that you're not crazy, you're not delusional, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not wrong for seeing what you're really seeing and what's taking place. And there's nothing wrong with you. Always remember, there's nothing wrong with you. So I'm going to say that again. So we always remember, we're not crazy, we're not weird, there's nothing wrong with us. And have faith in God that we are highly protected by our angels, by our ancestors, and by the spirit that God placed within us. That also protects us. That Holy Ghost that we carry, that's our protection as well. Because it's so strong and it's so powerful that whenever we're around dark energy, they flee from us. Because the light is so bright for them to handle. And so our enemies, those who come against us, they have to do it in the dark. Whatever they're trying to plot against us, whatever they're doing to harass us and stalk us, they're constantly doing it from a distance. And they're conjuring their evil, wicked plans behind the scenes in the background. Because our light is so bright that they can't handle our energy and our power. They're fearful of us. We're a threat to them. They see us as a threat. Not the other way around. So shine that bright, bright light. And remember that if God is for you, then who can be against you? Because God is fighting your battles whenever this type of stuff is taking place. And one thing I've noticed as well is that God has sheltered us during this time. The people that try to figure us out and watch us and study us, they have limited access to us. They have limited information now because they finally came to the conclusion that they should have never came against God's children, God's chosen ones. And they really went through it. I'm saying they really went through it for taking advantage of chosen ones, for abusing us, for manipulating us, and for trying to get one up on us. They're not being rewarded by it. Um, when I finally decided to end the relationship, cut the cord, um, bad things were happening to the people who went against me. Talking about bad things. Like cars being broken down, losing jobs, no rest for the wicked. Just bad things happen to them. And you start seeing how everything just falls into place. But they're not rewarded for it. They are experiencing their karma. And I've seen it. I've witnessed it. And I knew that it was God. God is the one who will deliver us from our enemies and deliver us from any wicked plan that comes against us. Not only that, I also want to share with you guys that in the community that I live in as well, the apartment complex, I would sometimes go out for a walk, and I had certain people just stalk me, like watch me from their balconies as I would just walk straight ahead, and there's a bunch of balconies on the top. There was this lady that was always giving me the evil eye, and I always felt like anxiety every time because it was so just sending me such dark energy. But she was friends with another person that lived there, and that other person that lived there, I would see him around. And one time I was sitting on the bench, and he approached me, and he just started asking me a bunch of personal questions. Oh, so where do you work at? Where do you live? How much money are you making there? Just a lot of personal questions, like being very nosy. And I felt the negative energy. I felt the ingenuineness. It felt like very fake energy. Like there was a hidden motive behind him asking me a lot of personal questions about me because I didn't even know him, and he just approached me and was acting overly friendly, overly caring, overly interested, and was just asking me, so where do you work and this and that, and just personal questions. Do you have a relationship and stuff like that. And after I finished that conversation, I decided to walk away. But as I was walking away, my spirit of discernment I'm so powerful. I just have to say this, it's so powerful. I felt this negative energy, and because my discernment is like on point. God's worked through it, and he intensifies it even more. Like it just increases it. My ability to see through people is like each time I always get it. I always get it right. Like I'm very accurate with what I believe in and my intuition. And so I felt this negative energy behind me, and I turn around, I glance back, and I see these evil eyes, like pitch dark black, like so much hatred. And I realized that God saved me in that moment. That person was trying to set me up. And I had that calling to just turn around and look. And as I looked, he was giving me this nasty evil eye. And he tried to play it off once I caught on to it, and he changed the subject. Oh, I hope you have a good day and this and that. But this happens where I'm living at. So this is part of the whole targeting and the whole trying to gain information, and they'll come up to you and ask personal questions and try to see what they can get to try to set spells as well, set curses under whatever information you reveal to them. And there was certain spells that were placed upon me. There was times where I couldn't even get out of bed. I was just so tired, like drained, depleted energetically. And I would eat. I had like this, um, just quench to eat a bunch of junk food. And I was eating healthy at the time. And during those curses, it was like I was depleted, I was tired. I couldn't even do focus. Like I was losing focus. I was losing my concentration, my ability to just stay on track of what I needed to do each day. Because I would sleep during the day. I would sleep during the whole entire day. That's how tired I was. And I wouldn't understand why. And I would just wake up being so tired. And it's like these curses that they place on you. And what I would do is I would just pray. Not only pray, but I would read the Bible. And I would like just connect to it. Like read it very loudly and boldly, and then listen to gospel music very loud, so I can just get all that dark energy away from me and out of my my energetic field, my aura. I was just trying to get all that negative energy away from me. And I survived it all. I survived all those curses because so many people placed curses on me. Even at my job, they tried to give me a gift, and they can even curse certain things that they'll give you. And that person that wanted to give me the gift had dark, negative, evil energy, and I felt it. And I said, "No, I don't want your gift here. You can take it." So I rejected it. Um, but yeah, even my own family did curses on me and death wishes and stuff like that because I decided to cut them off. And so the attacks were strong. They get stronger, they get intense the closer you get to God. And I'm still surviving, but still surviving. And it's all because of my anointing. It bothers people. You know, I get so much hate, jealousy as well. Just for having the spirit that I carry. It's a whole entire spiritual warfare. I went to a restaurant today, and certain people were just giving me very nasty looks. So like, just evil, like hate. And I know what type of spirit they have. I already know how to categorize it, and I felt the spirit of jealousy, just reaping out of their energetic field onto mine. And this is all forms of spiritual warfare, but we're so much stronger than they believe we are. And I feel that this is all just a test that we're all going through. And this is my testimony. Um, I mean, I'm still going through stuff, but but this is a testimony of what happened. Yes, Jezebel spirits as well. Yeah, no weapons formed against us shall prosper. Don't form the weapons. But they won't prosper. Yes, I feel negative energy as well in the life. I agree with you. I do feel it as well. That's why I became more quiet, cause I can sense that, and that's just the evil eye. You know, people monitoring spirits. They also go on your social medias, everywhere, just constantly watching, sending negative energy. So yeah, another thing about this whole neighborhood stalking and stuff like that. Um, People from my hometown as well. People that I went to school with years ago. They um they started coming back all the way to where I live to gang stalk me. They're participating as well to gang stalk me. So I have people from my old high school that I went to, and they were driving around as well in the same place. And it all happens in front of my apartments that I live in, the dorms. And so I would go out and I would go for my walks, and I started seeing a lot of faces that resembled people that I went to high school with. And I was just shocked because I don't really know them. They don't really know me at all. And it's just crazy to see that they'll come back just to see if they can try to destroy you again. And because they're jealous, they don't understand why. I'm pretty sure most of them don't understand why I'm chosen. They probably get mad at the fact, why is she chosen? What's so special about her? Why her and not me? It's like they're so worldly that they don't understand that it's a spiritual gift that we carry within us. It has nothing to do with what we do, with what we say or do. It's just an anointing that we have, like the spirit within us. And I see people mimicking me as well in my own place where I live, like mimicking the way that I dress, the way that I walk, how I talk. But it's like a silent competition. And then when they can't do you the same way, and they don't get the same attention that chosen ones get, they start becoming angry and bitter, and now they want to try to destroy you because they can't do you. They can't become just like you. But they don't understand that it's the spirit that we carry. It's not what we do. It's not what just because I'm doing my YouTube channel. No, not at all. Um I've told people about my YouTube channel, and they ended up saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do one too, and I'm gonna be even more successful than you are." I'm not competing with anybody, and I'm not doing this to compete with anybody. This is what I feel called to do. I really feel called, like my spirit feels called to just share testimonies and to do this. And so that's another thing with the neighbors is that they'll imitate you, but at the same time they want to tear you down. So it's a love and then it's a hate relationship. Well, it's not a relationship, but it's just a love and a hate type of feeling that they feel towards us. And then they justify the way that they treat us. So they'll do something really mean to us and then they'll justify, well, it's because of this or that. They'll find any tiny thing just to dislike about us to justify what they plot and do against us. And let me remember what else I've observed. Yeah, I think I just observed like the snakes being overly nice, like love bombing me, giving me a lot of fake compliments, like, oh, you look so beautiful, or oh, wow, I love this about you, and just trying really hard to deceive me for their evil plans. But I know that they stare at me, that they watch me for a bad reasons. I can feel the energy off of them. I can feel that negative energy that they're just um, projecting towards me. Even when they're smiling and being nice, I still feel that energy of darkness in them. Because my light, it it shows their darkness, and I can see it as well. Just like they get scared because I can see them. I think that's why they're also intimidated and they're fearful of us, is the fact that chosen ones have that intuitive gift to see them for who they are. We see that darkness in them because we're living in the truth. We're living in the light, which means that everything that's done in the dark, when we come around, it's like it's just exposed. So this is also why we get so much jealousy and hate from other people around us. And I've lost several jobs because of this. Because they can't handle the light within me. Even at work, certain people would get intimidated. They would want to compete with me. They would get jealous and they would try to do things better than me. And I was just mind blown. The fact that I was just trying to do my work, trying to get whatever I have to do done and leave, and that's it. But they don't see it in the spiritual sense. They see it as like, they only see it as a worldly thing. That, oh, she thinks she's all that, or oh, this and that. And so we constantly have to go through persecution as well. Even in our own neighborhoods, communities, they'll make up a bunch of lies. They'll paint us to be the worst type of human beings. I've been called that I'm crazy, that I'm mentally unstable, all this type of stuff, when I know it's not true. Okay. And then another thing, I would get noise campaigns as well. When I would try to film my YouTube videos, in that window right there, I would open that window and just film my YouTube videos. And each time I would open the window, there was always a lawnmower guy just running the grass, um, cars honking, like a lot of loud distractions outside while I was trying to just speak truth into my videos, speak life into my videos. And there was always a bunch of noise outside, or dogs barking, and trail, just a bunch of loud noises. This is all the noise campaigns. Like, you have a lot of noise just distracting you while you're trying to focus on something. And so that's part of being a targeted. And then another thing is when I go out for my walks, just to do grounding, step on the grass and just get in touch with nature. As I was walking, the cars, they had people holding up phones like this while they were driving. And then the next car that passed by, it was a little girl sitting near the driver holding up a phone. And I was shocked. I was like, even little kids are part of this type of demonic program. So I was just shocked by it. So the Most High is ruler of everything, even evil. Oh yeah, so this live I was a little bit more serious, just to just because it's a serious topic for me, and I really hope you guys appreciate this live stream. And I'm gonna go ahead and end it right now. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Continue to be yourselves, continue to stay true to who you are, and continue to share that beautiful light with the world. Okay.